Hello, guys. Thank you for tuning in. So, I was asked this question that you're currently seeing on the screen. The question is basically, does desire make you happy or does it take away the existing happiness? Now, I think the first thing that we need to ask ourselves, that we need to be absolutely clear on, is what is happiness for me? Not for everyone, not like a general what is happiness question, but what do I call happiness? What does it mean for me? What does happiness mean for me? Now, we might say happiness is when I meet my family, or when I eat some kind of food, or when I meet my girlfriend, or whatever it is. But it has to be something that you call happiness, right? Now, if you look closely on all those small moments that you call happiness, if you look closely, you'll find one thing that is common in all of them, and that is, in the moment of happiness you're not trying to escape the current moment to reach the next, right? You're not desperately trying to reach somewhere, but you just are in the moment, right? I also call that the state of not trying, because mostly we're always in the state of trying or reaching the next moment. From the time we wake up to going to bed at night, we're always either physically or mentally, we're always in the state of trying or reaching the next moment, right? But those small moments of not trying is what happiness is. Now, when I say not trying, people often mistake it for not doing anything. No, it's not doing anything. You may be doing an intense work, but if you're not trying to reach the end, or you're not trying to get to the next moment while doing it, then it is the state of not trying. I often use the example of playing soccer or playing whatever kind of games you like. You can be intensely playing or doing something and at the same time not trying to reach the end goal. You can also use an example of painting, because while you're painting, you're not desperately trying to reach the end, but you're completely focused on what you're doing and not trying to reach the end. I call that the state of not trying, right? So, for most people, the only happiness we know is after we fulfill a desire, after the fulfillment of a desire. We don't know any other happiness, right? But an enlightened being, or a body mind organism in which realization, self realization has happened, that being is free of desire. Hence, he is always in the state of not trying. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that as long as the sense of personal doership is there, as long as you think that you are the doer of an action, then there is always bound to be desires, right? Because the very sense of personal doership is what desire is. That sense always has something in mind, that sense always wants to reach or achieve something that it does not have yet. So the very sense of personal doership, or you can call it ego, or the sense of I, whatever it is, that very sense is the desire, right? Now, when that is not there in an enlightened being, when that sense of personal doership is completely shattered in an enlightened being, then an enlightened being is free of desires. Hence, he is always in the state of not trying, or he is always happy. But a regular individual like us, who are caught up in desires, there is no other happiness that we know except for the feeling that we get after we fulfill a desire, right? And we can do absolutely nothing to stop desiring. Most people think that we can stop desiring. No, because trying to stop desiring is also a desire. It is probably more intense desire than any other desires. So, one thing that we need to be absolutely clear on is that we cannot stop desiring, but we can only switch from one object of desire to another, right? One may go from desiring materialistic things to desiring spiritual goals, but even that is merely switching from one object of desire to another. We cannot stop desiring, but we can only switch from one object of desire to another. So, to answer the initial question, yes, we can say that desiring always puts us in the state of trying and hence state of not being happy. But there's nothing we can do about that. Now, when I say desiring, I want to go one step further and say desiring happens in the body mind organism. You don't choose to desire, but desiring happens as long as personal doership, the sense of I, the sense that you are the controller of your life, as long as that sense is there, desiring always is there. As long as that sense is there, desiring never stops, right? So I want to say desiring happens as long as that sense of personal doership is there. So while we are caught up in desires, we cannot stop desiring. I made that absolutely clear. So the wisest decision that one can take is analyze if the desire is appropriate and it is worth pursuing. And once you decide that it is worth pursuing, once you've made up your mind that it is worth pursuing, then do it without any hesitation, right? So having said that, thank you for tuning in. If you want me to talk about anything else, just comment on the section below and I'll talk about it in other videos. If you want to buy helpful books, just go to www.hellomadman.com. Thank you.